Moving on to our next story, Funimation founder Gen Fukunaga has stepped down from being the GM. That's all we have to say. Goodbye. No, there's some. Could you imagine if we were just like, that's it? It's like, well, what the fuck? That was like less than a minute. No, no, but he has stepped down as the CEO. However, we should note though that he is still working. Even though he has stepped down as the CEO of the company, he is still going to be I want to make sure I get this exact because this when someone runs a company or works in a company, there's so many different other terms to use. It's like, well, I'm not the CEO, but
He's the general manager, and
yeah,
then
he's still he's
a
no, no
chairman position.
yeah, that's what's weird. It's like, wait a minute, so they're searching for a new general manager,
Right.
and so he stepped down as the CEO.
Working closely
Yes,
with
but
them
it's
and provide a more smooth transition.
yeah, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, all right, can you give me your exact title? It's like, I work in company. Thank you, but thank you. Thank you so much, Fukunaga. I mean, it's not Fukunaga, it's, Funimation as well coming out with this story. Now, what's interesting, or specifically Variety, but what's interesting is, so Fukunaga had mentioned that he's working closely with them to ensure a smooth transition. Well, I find a few things interesting. One, does this in any way, and I'm not going to get into this right now, maybe it does this in any way have anything to do with the Vic Mignogna controversy as of late? Maybe not. Probably not, because this is probably starting. This probably all started when Sony acquired Funimation, as they mentioned, because he said this change has been on the horizon since Sony took a majority interest in the company in 2017, and now is the right time to begin the transition when Funimation is truly hitting its stride. So, is this related to Vic Mignogna? Probably not in any way, shape, or form. Now, is related to Sony? Well, Fukunaga just said it, so I'd imagine that yes, it is. But what I find very interesting is recently when Fukunaga said, in not so many words, fuck Netflix, and told
Yeah,
them when it
I was
came
going to
to.
say, I would have thought it might have more to do with that, if
No, I
anything.
think that he looked at the situation. He's like, you know what? I am stepping down soon. So he looked at Netflix. He motioned for them to, and again, I'm just trying to speak in CEO terms here, suck my dick and balls. Again, that's CEO terms. I don't really know what that means. Maybe some CEOs can come on and talk to us about what. But that was pretty much what Fukunaga said about Netflix in regards to Evangelion. And
Right, and
and yeah,
they're
yeah. But I do wonder if, like, because he knew he was transitioning out of that position, he was just like, suck all of it, and he just knew that he could leave into the night.
right.
What I do find interesting though is there are some people who are saying aren't as jovial as us. They're like, well, this means a lot of change coming up. What does this mean with Sony? Are they going to potentially want Funimation to move? Is this like their way of putting in their own figureheads? Usually that's what companies do when they take over a certain company. They kind of wait it out a little bit. At first everything's normal, then they start putting in their own corporate people from corporate offices. Then all of a sudden Funimation moves from Texas to California. What's going on here? And to that, I say, oh God, we're all going to die. This is not a drill. Burn it all to the ground. No, what I'm
What?
actually saying is, Matt, what in the hell? No, what
Yeah,
I'm,
quickly.
yeah,
I
right,
mean,
that escalated
I
quickly.
kind of don't doubt it, but
No, what I think is this, right? I think that Sony has put so much money into this. It would be dumb for them to take that much corporate control. I will admit, yes, why is Fukunaga stepping down? He founded Funimation in 1994. The thing though is 1994 is a very long time ago. So, after a while you might just go, I have a family. Like I want to sleep a little bit,
I mean, I
you know?
feel like, he stated it's ever since, Sony took interest in the company, but that doesn't make it feel like, hey, I've been doing
Well,
this for a while.
mhm.
I like to, ease out of this position of power.
Well, think of it like this too, right? So let's say Fukunaga CEO, not CEO anymore. After a while, with this transition, when they find someone new, Fukunaga, if he doesn't want anything to do with this company, says, "I'm selling all of my stock." Maybe slower, maybe not immediately, maybe doesn't freak out some investors. But what I'm trying to get at here is Fukunaga will be making a killing when he leaves this company.
Yeah, right.
So let's not, like, like him stepping down isn't like, oh no, Fukunaga is unemployed. No, he still has stock in this company. Remember, he founded it in '94. He still has so much stock in this company that he will probably be good for many lifetimes, including his family as well, any close family that he has. So we acknowledge this, or I acknowledge this simply due to the fact that it's like Fukunaga's like, spare some change, sir. I can't I can't get a Netflix subscription. Like, I don't have the money. Like, no, like Fukunaga is stepping down because Sony is putting their money into this, which then he goes, "Oh, that's a lot of money." Wait a minute, that's a lot of money. Does he have to do this? That's the thing. Like, he's clearly had a drive for business starting this company in '94. But the fact that it's been over 20 years, after a while you sit back and maybe he wants to create something else in the entertainment industry. I mean, look at how many times crap, come on. Haim Saban, right? Saban, who owned Power Rangers. He owned Power Rangers, then he sold it to Disney for a profit, then he bought it back from Disney for pennies, then he sold it again to Hasbro for even more money than he sold it to Disney. I mean, when it comes to Funimation, I think this might be Fukunaga going, did Sony invested in, all right, fuck it. I'm out. I'm outie. And he's just super happy about getting the hell out of there with a lot of money in the bank. So I think we should acknowledge that as well. As I'm trying not to die and drinking water, I think we should acknowledge that as well. And I'm not saying we shouldn't worry about the company, all right? Because yes, if we start to hear rumblings of of Sony putting their own Sony hires in there, that they that have maybe not done so well with Sony, or if we start hearing rumblings about the company moving from Dallas to Cali, I'll say this much. It would be frustrating if they move simply because they're doing very well with their voice talent. But let's not acknowledge, like, we should acknowledge the fact that in Texas right now, they're not union. So they would be getting paid a lot more in California. So I feel like some people are like, oh no, they're going to move to California. I'm so sorry that actors are going to get paid more. Truly, this is the end of times.
I mean,
like, we should also acknowledge that.
As well.
What was that?
If they'd be able to move with the company, hopefully.
Well, no, that is true too. That is true as well, but we should also acknowledge how everything has become so digitized nowadays that different people who actually live in LA still work on Funimation dubs.
Right.
And New York. So it's not like certain actors have to actually be in the booth with Chris Sabat or other voice directors. We should acknowledge that too. So, yeah. So we should note that, it's not as if it's going to be the end of the world just yet, but we should definitely keep an eye on this. I'm not saying that we shouldn't keep an eye on it, but I don't think it's the end of the world just yet. But tell me what you guys think down below. Do you think it's the end of the world? Are you sitting there like, well, it's the end of the world as we know it? And do you care? So I want to hear what you guys have to say down below.